Welcome to the Manifestation Babe podcast. My name is Catherine Zinkina, and I'm a manifestation expert, master mindset coach, and multiple seven-figure entrepreneur. I'm obsessed with helping you achieve everything that you once thought was impossible. If you're looking to massively up-level your life, your finances, your relationships, your productivity and success, then you have come to the right place. My goal in this podcast is to help you see the infinite potential within yourself to be, do, and have anything that your heart desires. Think of this podcast as your weekly dose of mindset development to help you maximize who you are and where you're going. Leave it to me to provide you with the tools, the resources, the strategies, and teachings that you need to manifest a reality wilder than your wildest dreams. I know we're about to have so much fun together, so thank you so much for pushing play today, and now let's begin. Hello, my gorgeous friends. It's been such a long time. It's been way too long. I don't know, I just felt called to grab my microphone and sit here and record a podcast. I have some ideas of what this podcast might be and how it might unfold, but honestly, after some tuning in, I'm like, I feel like I won't be able to go to sleep if I don't record this. So if you're wondering where I've been on a sabbatical / I've been calling it I don't even know what to call it. It's like sabbatical, but also maternity leave part 2. Also a realignment period for me. Blank space, white space. Yeah, obviously it's been a little while since I've recorded a podcast, but I did announce that I was going on sabbatical on Instagram, and it's been a month now. Wow. It's been 4 weeks, and my plan was to take the summer off, and I told my team it might be, I don't know, could be 3 months, could be 4, could be 6, could be 7. I really don't know, because I can feel that the universe is, and this is the best freaking metaphor ever that I got from my coach, Andrea, yesterday in our session. She said, Catherine, the universe is like a mailman chasing you down with these checks that he so badly wants to deliver to you, because he's like, Catherine, there's so much more money here. Catherine, slow the fuck down. And I'm just like sprinting, trying to chase the next thing, trying to be in the flow of life that as I think it's supposed to be, right? I think I'm supposed to keep up with life in a certain way. And then poor mailman is trying to deliver these checks to me from the universe, these blessings from me. So I decided to take a period to slow down and tune in and really question this. I don't even know how to explain it. For me, it's like an experiment more than anything. And I've talked about my experiments in the past, my big experiment from 2016 of what if manifestation is actually fucking real? And what would life look like if I actually believed it for reals and acted like it was real? And clearly, if you've been following the podcast for as long as it's existed, and if you've been following Manifestation Babe for as long as it's existed, you see in front of you, yes, it's fucking real. I've proved it. I've done the proving for myself, and I've encouraged each and every one of you to prove it to yourself too. So my next experiment for me was to really question, what is life like without obligations? If I didn't have a date that I was supposed to launch something by, if I didn't have a sales period or the need to create a new program or relaunch a program, and especially be so involved with it, what would it look like if my team ran my business, right? What would it look like if I truly tapped into energies of genuine urge, genuine calling? What would that look like for me? And I'm pleased to announce this podcast is a completely genuine urge and genuine calling, and it just feels so fucking good. I have to say, I miss my microphone. I'm snuggled up in bed right now, so comfy. And it's 8 p.m. I put my baby down about an hour ago, had some dinner, and I'm like, wow, this is the vibe. The fact that I could make money doing this and have a business this way And more importantly than that, connect with thousands upon thousands of you in this way. I'm in my fucking pajamas. This is incredible. There was another thing that manifested, which I need to update you. I think that this is going to be like a little update slash I want to share my downloads, my recent findings, my recent things that I feel so connected with you. And I've realized through motherhood that the number one thing that is missing for so many people is connection. Moms feel alone. Entrepreneurs feel alone. Postpartum is this like lonely period of trying to figure out like, who the frick is this human who's attached to me 24/7? What am I supposed to do with my life? All of a sudden, I'm supposed to take care of someone 24/7. And like, I feel so alone. I need to connect with other moms, entrepreneurs. I need to connect with other entrepreneurs. Like, I feel so connected to you. And this is a part of my journey too, of uncovering that I really miss connection. I'm part of a mastermind. I just joined a mastermind. I want to say it was like a month ago that I officially joined it, and I started, or I don't know how long it's been, but we officially started like 2 weeks ago. And it's a mastermind all around motherhood and being a business owner who's also a mom. It's called CEO Mama. It's run by this incredible woman, Natalie Ellis, who also you may have heard of her brand at Boss Babe. Incredibly huge. Wow. Like they have such a huge social media presence, incredible business, all about entrepreneurship, all about being a boss babe. And Natalie Ellis became a mom, and I befriended her through that process. And me, her, Ashley Hahn, Mel Wells, we formed this little postpartum group together, and we used to cry on every single Zoom call. Like it was every Friday or every other Friday. And at least 3 out of 4 of us would be sobbing. It's like one of us is having a fine time, and then the rest of us are sobbing. And it just, you never know who it's going to be, who it's not going to be. And we went through such a mind fuckery of this initiation into motherhood. This like, what is going on? Who am I? What is my business? Do I want to be maybe I want to be a stay-at-home mom. Can my husband run the show? Can he start a business? Like, it's crazy. And watching Natalie download the idea for CEO Mama, I'm like, yes, you have no idea how many moms need this. And by the way, I want to fucking join too. So I came home from the CEO Mama Mastermind. It's now Friday, June 16th that I'm recording this, and I came home Wednesday. So yes, that was 2 nights ago. And I feel like I walked through a portal. I feel like a transformed woman. I feel energy I've never felt before. I feel clarity I've never felt before. And it would not ever have been possible for me, and I genuinely believe this, if I didn't make the scariest decision of my life to step back from my business and to take time off and just be a mom. Which, ha ha ha, Catherine, you're also going to a mastermind in a sabbatical? Like, yes, that's also my style. But again, it's about genuine energy. I knew that I needed to be there. And the downloads that came to me just would not be possible if it wasn't for this white space. Actually, my team ran a whole launch for me. Literally, my team's been on their own. They've been running Manifestation Babe. They've been on their own. They've been killing it. We had our biggest affiliate launch this week while I was in Austin at a mastermind, literally zero involvement. I think I may have posted 2 stories total out of this whole launch just because, again, genuine urge to do so. And the rest was my team, and I'm so proud of them. We had 444 new students inside of the BBD, the Business by Design program. I mean, it's been incredible. So I wanted to I think this podcast is going to be called I Became a Mom and Everything Changed. And I know if you're a mom listening to me, or you are a mom to be, or actually, no, you wouldn't know this until you become a mom, because really, I joke with my friend Ashley all the time when we think about ourselves as we were pregnant or even just considering having children, how we literally did not know what the fuck was coming. And that's not to scare anyone who is a mom to be or wants to be a mom and is planning to become a mom. It really is the most incredible thing that's ever happened to me. But it's also been the biggest identity shift I've yet to go through. It's a massive initiation, it's a portal, it's a questioning of absolutely everything in life. So there's this like term that I learned called matrescence. I heard of this term from, I want to say Mel is the one who introduced me to this term because she learned it from some book or I don't know, something got passed around again in this little Zoom group that we had. And this term comes from the word pubescence, like going through puberty. And essentially, matrescence is like this entire initiation and transition after being initiated into motherhood that takes place for years after the baby is born. A lot of people think like postpartum is a week or two, or okay, maybe 6 months, okay, maybe 12 months, but no. Someone in my mastermind is actually a postpartum expert. There's actually a few women in my mastermind who are postpartum experts, and they all say postpartum is a long ass time. And it's actually 3 years at minimum that first of all, your brain is forever changed, but also like the what the fuckery, it sticks around for 3 years post a child. And a lot of women who end up having multiple kids, they have, two under two, or they, their kids, like, let's say even a 3-year age gap, which is my plan, by the way. I know my daughter is trying to come through so bad. If you've listened to my like communicating with my unborn baby, let me tell you, I already have their name. I already know that they're trying to come through. And I'm like, Brennan, we need max protection right now because this little soul is working really hard to incarnate. And I keep telling them, like, let's wait it out just a little bit longer. And I know ultimately it's like up to them too. That's when people have birth control and protection and they go, how did that happen? That's impossible. No, anything's fucking possible. And there's a soul trying to come through. So, but I digress. Total tangent right there. So like, let's say I want to have a 3-year age gap. Well, guess what? The moment I come out of this stage, this like puberty, I go through it fucking all over again because it's another 3-year period of postpartum. So as a mom, what I've come to realize is that I am just not seeing the world in the same way ever again. I'm not into the same things as I was before. There's something that happens to the desire to work. Like biologically, it's become harder for me to embody this huntress energy, which is the archetype of the warrior woman. It's one of the feminine archetypes that actually Mel teaches. And it's just harder to embody her. And that archetype just isn't there as much anymore. There's relationship dynamics that completely change, which I will get into that a little bit. I went through a dark night of the soul. Not even just through postpartum, it actually happened closer to the start of pregnancy, maybe even before that. Brennan and I went through this period of just, whoa, dark night of the soul energy. And I actually told him yesterday that in my mind, it was as bad as me wanting to end things. Like it went to that point. And I've been talking to moms recently, like that's not new. It happens. And I feel like part of my new purpose now is really normalizing a lot of things in motherhood. And really speaking to moms, especially who are entrepreneurs, because I feel like there's this interesting dynamic there too. Just like in relationships, we are also in relationships with aspects of our lives. I'm so good at talking about the relationship of money, right? You probably have heard of me refer to money as like my boyfriend or husband number 2, or just like it's a relationship that I have. And your business is also a relationship. You're in relationship to everything. And these dynamics get completely questioned. When you have a physical human being that you are 100% responsible for, the way you see the world, it's like nothing else matters but this tiny little human. how you see yourself, like all the body changes, all the hormones, like all of that is just crazy. And then there's like this deep longing for a community, for a village that like moms don't realize how badly they want it and also need it. And becoming a part of this mastermind was such a special, like, I can't even tell you, it's hard to put in words the portal that I walk through. It was a very medicinal, like ayahuasca came through. I mean, it was crazy. It was crazy. And like, we're in a hotel in Austin. We're not like in the jungle. We're not actually drinking ayahuasca. It's not meant to be like this crazy medicinal retreat, but that's what the energy was for so many of us. I mean, we've realized like, oh my God, here's my village. This is the village that I was looking for. Holy shit. These are other entrepreneurial moms who are 7-figure business owners, and they are going through the same shit that I am. And I had this calling earlier on this year, but all of a sudden I solidified a mastermind that I want to put out into the world aimed at moms who are 7-figure entrepreneurs. And it just like downloaded like crazy, right? I already have like dates for when I'm launching it. I came home and wrote a sales page. I'm on sabbatical. And I promised myself that I wouldn't do anything out of genuine urge. And I had a genuine urge to write a sales page. I'm like ready to launch this shit, but also it can be launched later in the year. So it's okay because it's not going to start till next year. So we're not going to go get things too out of hand. But I've realized like through this community that moms don't need more courses. They don't need more memberships. They don't need more online presence stuff, like logging in somewhere to connect with moms. They need the in-person community. They need the in-person village. And so I'm creating the Manifestation Mama Mastermind, and this is aimed at women who are re-navigating their purpose. The same way that I've had to re-navigate my purpose, the same way that I've had to give myself space in order to come to a realignment of, okay, what is life going to look like in this new stage, from this new identity? And who knows, when the kids grow up, what happens? I don't know. Like, do we come back to another identity? Do we shift through? Is there another portal we go through? I don't know. I'll get there and I'll share all about it. But for now, this is aimed at women who want to rediscover themselves through community, through connection, through what's the word I'm looking for? My mind just went blank. Through connection, through spirituality, through manifestation, through redefining what manifestation is now. It's for the moms who they've manifested all the things. They have the 7-figure business. They've had the mind-blowing sex with their partners and all this stuff. They've had this incredible marriage. And then a baby came and it's like, boom, right? Like, who the fuck am I? Who the fuck are you? Who the fuck is this baby? It's just such a mind fuckery. And I want to present my best experts who I have consulted with, who have had transform my life through this period, the best modalities that have really helped me overcome the craziness, and then creating a community together. So I'm still formulating the details, but if this is something you're interested in, like, you know that you want to be in a group with me and 20 other incredible moms who are all 7-figure business owners, that's the requirement there. That's kind of how you know who it's for. DM me triple M for Manifestation Mama Mastermind, and I would love to send you the details of what I have so you can get on the wait list so that I know when I launch this thing, like, you are in. And also, might I add, there's going to be some exciting retreats that we do together. I'm so excited about it. But moving on from that, let's go back to my own mastermind before I get way too excited, because this is like the most exciting thing for me right now is creating this group. I can't wait. I can already see the women. It's like, amazing. So I went to the CEO Mama Mastermind, as I said, and I just wanted to create a podcast, like formulating my downloads. And even like for me questioning, like, who the fuck cares, Catherine, right? And I know there's some of you out there who care, but even like me sitting down here and recording this for myself so it goes on record, I can't wait to see where I'm at 1 year from now, looking back at this podcast episode and being like, oh my God, little Catherine over here, she thought that life would go this way, or she thought that it would unfold this way, but it unfolded so much better. Like, if she only knew that that was just the seed, the beginning of a whole new life for her. In fact, I encourage each and every one of you, whether you have a podcast or not, to just record a voice note every once in a while, sharing downloads that you're getting, sharing clarity that you're getting, sharing insights that you're getting for you to listen to, I don't know, a year from now, 2 years from now. I think that's a really good idea. Okay. So a series of downloads. I didn't know what I wanted to bring to this mastermind in terms of my roundtable, like, what do we call it? Hot seat, where each of us have 15 minutes to bring like our biggest issue up to the group. And we have literally 20 incredible women. I think it was 20. I didn't actually count. I kept asking everyone, how many of us are here? Because I feel like there's only 5 of us because we feel so close to each other. We feel like we're best friends. And everyone I asked kept saying, I think there's like 20 of us. I'm like, okay, there's 20 of us. So 20 beautiful souls to share their insights, their opinions, their advice. And it was amazing. It was all about separating my personal brand from my manifestation education business, and how finally, for the first time, I finally did it. I don't know if you're following me yet on at Catherine Zenkina. So I have 2 accounts now, at Manifestation Babe, at Catherine Zenkina. And what you'll find on at Manifestation Babe is all my spirituality, manifestation, like entrepreneurial content that will still continue to carry on. It's still going to be me running that brand. And then there's also at Catherine Zenkina for all the other stuff that I want to talk about, all the other stuff that I want to share. It's mainly focused around my personal life, that's for sure. But I don't really know what I'm going to post there yet. I've already started posting some motherhood related stuff, just sharing a little bit more of Orion there rather than my business page. Let's just call it a business page, Manifestation Babe, right? I've been crowdsourcing some help when I asked about something related to inflammation. I'm actually going to post, and this is like a joke of the mastermind. Everyone kept asking me for a Lashify tutorial because apparently I'm so good at doing my lashes from Lashify. And everyone around the table is like, oh my God, Catherine, like, first of all, I gave my friend Ashley a tutorial. And then everyone around the table was asking me to give them a tutorial too, or that I needed to create one and post one. So I'm like, you know what? Hell yeah, I'm going to do that, right? And I'm someone who's already had this element of a personal brand. And I'm always recommending things like products and books and people and ideas and all these things that don't necessarily fit into Manifestation Babe. But I've just been putting it on that page because I didn't know where else to put it. And people have been so loving all the other stuff that I'm into. So I'm like, I need to create a hub. And I've been ignoring my intuition for 5 fucking years now. In fact, this was a hot seat for me 5 years ago in a mastermind. And everyone told me not to create a separation, to do everything through at Manifestation Babe. And I'm like, I don't know. Are you sure? And for 5 years, I've had this like internal conflict of when I do want to just post about my travels, or when I do just want to post about Orion or motherhood or just some stupid something, right? Just like, I really love this coffee mug. Ha ha ha. Like, it's amazing, and it doesn't necessarily relate to manifestation, though, even though it does, like, all these things do relate to manifestation if you think about it, because manifestation is a way of life and just your life is a manifestation. But still, sometimes I'll hold myself back from posting about things because I just don't know how it fits. And I would just go through this internal conflict of like, who cares about this, right? And there are people who care about it. So finally, I got some clarity on that. You can follow me on at Catherine Zinkina, and I'll also post the link to the Manifestation Mama Mastermind waitlist, as well as the Instagram profile. So as I talk about things, if I'm promising a link or something, or you don't know how to spell something or what to do, you can always check the show notes. Let's see. Oh yes, this was a powerful fucking download. Let me just share the story with you. So we had a breathwork session. And in this breathwork session, usually when I'm about to do breathwork, I'm like bugging about it. Not in a bad way, but it's just, if you've ever taken one of my breathwork classes or taken a breathwork class of some sort, you know that it's a process. You're going into some deep shit. And all of a sudden I forgot that we had breathwork, and all of a sudden I'm on a yoga mat with a pillow and a blanket, and we're in a circle, and there is what was in the middle of us? I'm mixing up the closing ceremony and the breathwork, because I remember there was cacao in the closing ceremony. Oh yeah, there was like Florida water, and there was sage and like Palo Santo and just all this cleansing material, where I was instantly transported to like, are we about to take ayahuasca? Like, what's going on here? And all of a sudden I'm on my mat and I realize, holy shit, I'm about to do breath work. Okay, Catherine, calm down. We're good. Like, let's do this. Yep, we're ready. Let's set an intention, all the things. And this incredible soul named Samson, he is like divine masculine incarnate. You know, it's all these moms, these beautiful, gorgeous moms in their feminine, and this divine masculine facilitator of breath work gives us a talk and then says, the breathing exercise is actually going to be really gentle, because intensity doesn't always mean transformation. And you can have a transformation through gentleness. And that just like landed for me like, whoa, oh my God, he's so right. Oh my God, he's so right. That was my experience. This is why I fell in love with rapid resolution therapy, is because it's so gentle. It's a very gentle process. You don't cry, you don't scream, you mostly laugh, and just you're like listening to stories, and then it's over and you're like, what the fuck was that? And then all of a sudden you're transformed, right? That's why I love it so much. So I'm like, okay, I can get behind this. And the breathing pattern was so gentle. Actually, you know what? I'm mixing up. Let me finish this part because it is interesting, but let me also take you back to right before breathwork too, because I completely forgot the fact that what I'm sharing with you had nothing to do with breathwork actually, but had to do with the speaker before. But I think the breathwork thing is interesting. And if you've been following me since my ayahuasca days, you'll especially find it interesting and fascinating. So I'm like, okay. And I get into my mattress, or not mattress, my yoga mat. We start the breathing pattern, and it's very gentle. And about 20 minutes in, I'm feeling the same feels as I normally do if I was to be doing intense breath work. My hands are tingling, they're locking up, the tetany, the lobster claws, my legs are tingling. I'm having insane clarity, like just my mind is quiet and I'm getting download, vision, download. I'm like, whoa. And it's so interesting because I concluded my ayahuasca ceremony from 4 years ago on that mat. And for me, it was concluding the fact that my first ceremony, which you can go back and listen to, it's somewhere in the vault of the Manifestation Babe podcast. You got to scroll back to around December 2019 is where I recorded it. And if you remember, my first ceremony is really jarring for me. I didn't know if I was going to go back. In fact, if it wasn't for a facilitator saying this one sentence that they said to me, which I'm sure I shared in that podcast episode, I would not have gone back because it just was so jarring. And I didn't realize how much PTSD I was still carrying from that first ceremony until this breathwork session, where all of a sudden I concluded it. And I looked at, or I didn't look, I was in breathwork. I concluded it, and all of a sudden, I saw myself getting up and taking a cup, like being in a ceremony. And I was like, wait a second, do I feel the call to do it again? Because I didn't feel the call anymore after my first time, my first week doing it, I was like, I feel complete. Like, that's okay. We won't do it again. And all of a sudden, I'm like, wait, do I feel the call to do it again? Is this happening? And I heard this message of Catherine. It is safe for you to venture off into these realms again. It is safe for you to visit the realms. You are so powerful. You must stay connected to the realms. And that was the thing for me. And I think a huge block to my intuition since then was that I didn't feel safe venturing off into the realms, that aren't the 3D, what's beyond the 3D, beyond what we see. And if I don't feel safe venturing off beyond the 3D into the other realms, the astral realms or whatever, however you want to call it or see it, how am I supposed to download anything from it? I'm going to block myself intuitively if I don't feel safe downloading information from a place that I don't feel safe in. Like all of a sudden it just clicked, right? It just made sense. And after that breathwork session, let me tell you, like I'm still mind blown by how crystal clear my intuition is. And then I got a second confirmation, because I'm going to have to backtrack, of this new level of mastery that I am meant to embark on. That I, of course, will be taking you on this journey with me. But first, I need to do my own personal growth and my own personal work in before I, of course, share. Because you already know that everything I share with you is embodied information. And if it's not, I'll tell you that. It's like, oh, I'm just learning this thing. But when I share with you my money practices, when I share with you my money mindset, my manifestation process, identity shifting, all the stuff that I talk about all the time, like that is coming from the most embodied place, because I have done the work here. I've gone through the portal, I've gone through the initiation, and I'm here to teach. So it was another confirmation of what I meant to teach. And so let me backtrack. Before the breath work, and this is like the biggest download of this week, and I'm still like, whoa, this is like really exciting. So Mel Wells, one of my really good friends, Mel Wells, she was our speaker. And I remember her creating a story leading up to the mastermind, how she was invited to come back to the mastermind because she's part of the other group. But this time she's coming as a guest and a guest speaker. And she's going to be talking all about polarity. And I remember being like, oh my God, I can't wait. So she comes in and she's standing and she's giving this talk on polarity, feminine, masculine energies, the different archetypes, the feminine archetypes, things, what to do and what not to do to cultivate the masculine energy and not cause it to shut down in your partner, and all of this beautiful stuff. And there was a moment where I hear this voice that says, this is what you're meant to master. This is what you're going to be teaching. And this is who you're going to learn it from. Whoa, what? I'm sorry, what? What? And the reason why I had that reaction is because, you guys, if I'm just being honest, there's an area of my life that I haven't been very public about. Not like public about, that's the wrong word, because I have been public about it. But it's the one area of life that I don't offer teachings in or any advice in. And you may notice I have a lot of shit to share when it comes to personal growth, personal development, manifestation, money, business, like so fucking good at these topics, mastered. And I'm not saying that from an egoic place of like, oh yeah, I already know everything. Absolutely not. There's still so much for me to learn. There's so many more levels that I want to grow beyond in these areas. But for the most part, I don't struggle with like scarcity, limiting beliefs around money. I know that I'm going to be wealthy and successful, like end of story, period. And it wasn't because I was born that way, but it's because I have over a decade's worth of work here. Realignment, unconscious rewiring. And so the other area is in relationships, is in marriage, is in polarity, masculine and feminine energies. This area of my life, whenever I would ask my Instagram audience, like, hey, what topics do you want me to create content around? What do you want me to create a podcast about or a course about? And everyone would be like, please, manifesting love, manifesting relationships, talk about relationships. And I'm like, I'm literally a fucking hot mess in this area, especially postpartum. I'm not ready to talk about it yet. And I have to because there's another person involved before I air out our dirty laundry. Okay. I'm going to have to talk to Brennan. But I know that this is it is the whole catalyst of why I'm being pushed into this new area of mastery. And I want to master. This new level of mastery for me is becoming the feminine leader. What is it like to be the breadwinner, but also be a feminine being and also have mind blowing sex with your partner and polarity and love and relationships? Just all of the stuff that gets so tested postpartum. And it's very, very common. Like, I think there was TikTok trend of a bunch of women using this like scene from Euphoria. I think I've never seen the show, but I just read in the comments that that's where the scene comes from, where this guy and this girl are walking towards each other in the hallway, and then he just like basically ignores her and keeps walking. And everyone says this is what it's like in your relationship after having a baby. And I always looked at that trend, even though that was my experience for sure. I always looked at that trend of like, nah, that's not it. Like, there's got to be something better than this. There's got to be an answer to this. There's got to be something to this. And it was like, and you're meant to teach on this. Like, you're meant to master this and you're meant to teach on this. And thankfully now I can say, and Brendan totally agrees with me, that we are so much closer now than we were even before having a baby. Like, we are so much more in love. There's so much more passion for each other. They're not perfect. There's a lot of resentments that I am working through. We just started seeing an RRT based, like RRT trained couples therapist who is incredible. We just had our first session a couple days ago, so I'm not going to, I'm not going to say too much about it because we just started, but I can already tell this is going to be so fucking good for us. But yeah, it was tested. And so it's funny because I went to my friends, Amy and Ellie's house in Austin. They moved to Austin, and I was telling them about all these downloads, and then I realized I've been friends with these girls for 3 years, and this is what they teach on. Like, this is their life's work. And I've never really paid attention because I never really had the genuine desire and urge to go there. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh my fucking God, I can learn from you guys too. And they just bam, 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 resource, 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 event, 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 author, 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 book, 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 like boom. Here's where you're going to dive in, Catherine. Like, this is your next journey. And I don't know how this is going to unfold. I definitely know it's always going to be with a flair of manifestation. I think that it will give a new flavor of how I present my teachings, and especially like even outside of relationships with your partners. Just relationships to yourself, relationship with money, relationship with all those other areas. I think it's just going to help me once I embody it, once I understand, and once I can teach it. I, of course, am so excited to share it. And who knows? Again, I'm coming to this podcast just being like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I don't know how it's going to look like with my personal brand and this download, but I just need to share it on the podcast. Like, I need to talk about these things. I need to express them. I need to talk more about how I've really been feeling about motherhood and postpartum, because I feel like it's nothing I was prepared for. And at the same time, it's also hard to prepare for, because it's not until you go into this initiation where you're like, oh, I get it. I get what all the other moms are talking about. What else? Let me just check my journal because I wrote all of this in my journal, like how none of this clarity would come through if it weren't for the white space of my sabbatical. I talked about my conclusion of Aya, my mastermind, Manifestation Mama. Super excited about that. I already can see like, oh my gosh, there's so many details that I want to under promise and over deliver. So I'm going to shut up right now because I almost revealed the guest experts that I would bring, just the format that I would be in. And I just want to keep that to myself now so that I can go all out for you, for those of you who are meant to be in this group. Um, I also wrote in my journal, identity shifts are not just something you cause to manifest something, which it is, but they are also something your soul forces to happen so that you evolve into who you're meant to become. Ooh, that's a good one. That's what I feel like this portal of motherhood is. Um, and then I wrote here, I don't know what the next chapter looks like or how this is going to evolve, but I'm so grateful. And I am genuinely so grateful to have you. I'm so grateful to have you as a witness. I'm so grateful to have you as a friend, really. I know it's weird where I'm like, you know, acting like we know each other, even though I'm talking, alone in my bedroom on a microphone. I don't know exactly who you are and what you look like and who listens to my podcast, but there's a genuine love and appreciation for you that I feel where these words and all the words in all my podcasts would not flow if it wasn't for you being there as a receiver on the other side. So thank you for being here as my muse. I mean, that's genuinely what it is. You are my muse. And I am not making promises for my next podcast because, like I said, I am in sabbatical. I am in this exploration mode. I'm being a mama. I'm being just a mama, like just a mama, We hear this a lot, especially from stay-at-home moms. Like, I'm just a stay-at-home mom. Like, God damn it. That is a whole role. What am I saying? Role. There we go. That is a whole role in its own. That is a full-time fucking job. Let me tell you, I'm exhausted every day and I'm not even working. Okay. So on top of that, being a business owner or holding down a corporate job, like holy fuck, people. But experiencing what it's like to just be a mama has been really special. I'm enjoying maternity leave part 2, and I'm excited to dive into a world that makes me uncomfortable. But I know that every time I've listened to my intuition, I've come out on the other side living my fucking dream life. It's the reason why I live the life I live today is because I followed my intuition, even when it didn't make sense, even when it was scary. I followed my secret desires. I had a secret desire to really enjoy maternity leave because I didn't really fully get one right when my son was born. I had this secret desire to take a summer off. Like, ooh, juicy. That sounds amazing. Like, imagine having a whole summer to do nothing. What? And I didn't want to find out how the universe would actually force me, because the universe forces you to manifest your secret desires if you don't fulfill on them, because it knows what you want and it's just giving you what you want. Like when you say, oh, if I can only just take a break, and you don't give yourself a break, that's where you get sick, right? That's where you break a leg. It's like something happens that forces you to take a break. Don't let those things happen. They're not fun. Just take the goddamn break. I'm telling you, this clarity that I have right now, this feeling of certainty, this feeling of peace, the fact that my team, I gave my team the green light to just run a whole launch for me, run my whole business, and they're doing amazing, and they had the biggest affiliate launch. Like, this would not be possible if I didn't listen to my intuition. So I really urge you to fucking listen to yours. If I know there's something there where you're like, I don't know, it seems so scary, but I really want to do it. Just fucking do it. And if you're someone who wants to take a break, take a break. There is so much juice on the other side of space. So, with that being said, I love you so much. If you could be so amazing and leave a review for this podcast if you've never, if you're someone who's been a listener, maybe this is your first episode and you're like, you know what, I like this chick, she's cool. If you could just leave a 5-star review, it really genuinely helps the podcast. I'd be so appreciative. You don't have to go into a whole paragraph of, writing if you don't want to, just even a sentence. It takes like 5 seconds. It's so easy to do. Um, you know, I like to do this as much as possible. If there's a book I like or restaurant, just like 2 seconds, it really helps the business. It helps the author, it helps the podcast host, whoever it is. I'd be so fucking appreciative. And I can't wait to deliver to you new episodes from this kind of energy that I feel like I was missing before the sabbatical. And I'm so excited. All right. I love you so much. I hope you have an amazing day, and I'll catch you in the next episode, whenever that is. Bye. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. If you absolutely loved what you heard today, be sure to share it with me by leaving a review on iTunes so that I can keep the good stuff coming your way. If you aren't already following me on social media, come soak up the extra inspiration on Instagram by following @ManifestationBabe or visiting my website at manifestationbabe.com. I love and adore you so much and can't wait to connect with you in the next episode. In the meantime, go out there and manifest some magic.